Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this edition of the 6 p.m. prime time newscast on Equinoxe television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Bable Jonathan, one of the leading opposition politicians in the Republic of Cameroon. Professor Maurice Kamto, national president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, says he and his collaborators or his followers will do everything possible, even if it will take sacrificing their own lives, to stop an undemocratic power transition scheme being prepared at the presidency of the Republic of Cameroon. He has called on Cameroonians to be on high alert to defend their rights. And also in this newscast, we will tell you what you should know, what is important, what matters as far as the case of a journalist who has been detained for close to a year now in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon in an unknown detention center is concerned. I'm talking about Samuel Doe of CMTV, who has been in detention for close to a year today. Stay with us. Thanks once more for joining us on this edition of the news on Equinoxe television. The national president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, CRM political party, Professor Maurice Kamto, who came second in the last presidential election in the Republic of Cameroon, according to official figures, has said that he and his followers will do everything possible, even if it will demand a sacrifice or the sacrifice of their own lives, to stop an undemocratic power transition scheme at the presidency of the Republic of Cameroon. Speaking on his Facebook page, he said that Cameroonians have to be on high alert to defend their rights. For me, I'm Sander Hasmo.
Maurice Kamto wants Cameroonians to know that something is happening without their knowledge at the helm of the state. In his message to supporters and sympathizers, June 1st, 2020, the Cameroon Renaissance Movement's political party national president claimed that a scheme is currently unfolding with the aim to undemocratically transfer power at the helm of Cameroon. People who do not want a democratic transfer of power in our country are at work. They are ready to go to any length with the support of some foreign powers to hang on. That is happening right before you all, and I seize this opportunity to reveal to you so that no one will say he or she did not know. A plan which, according to Professor Maurice Kamto, is undemocratic, unconstitutional, and an attempt to bypass the will of the Cameroonian people. But he and his supporters will not let that happen. The Cameroon Renaissance Movement's political party and the People for Change will not accept the holding of any general elections in Cameroon. Neither will they accept any form of constitutional change with the aim to undemocratically transfer power. Maurice Kamto threatens that he will so fight such attempts even with his life. If death is the price we must pay for this struggle, so be it. The CRM party national president further says he stands with the Anglophone people of the northwest and southwest regions in what he qualifies as their current plight. He frowns at any attempts to organize elections in Cameroon without the resolution of the Anglophone crisis and the post-October 7, 2018 presidential elections crisis. To Professor Maurice Kamto, Cameroonians should be on a high alert to intervene to fight against any form of manipulation for a possible transfer of power at the helm of Cameroon.
He has been in incommunicado detention for close to a year today. Journalist Samuel Doe of CMTV in the southwest regional chief town, Boya, was arrested last year, and till today his lawyers, family members or relatives, friends and colleagues do not know his whereabouts. It is unclear what has been happening to Samuel Doe, and people are asking questions. Is he dead? Is he still alive? Is he being tortured? questions quite difficult to answer with certainty. As of now and tonight, we're taking you into the nooks and crannies of the case of Samuel Wazizi with the lead defense counsel, Barrister Nkia Emmanuel, who in this first extract comes back to his arrest and all what happened in the first few months of his detention. Take a listen.
First thing is that Mr. Samuel Wazizi, as he's popularly called, was arrested in August. When he was arrested in August 2019, that was in early August, on the 2nd of August 2019, my colleague Barrister Ewule, acting then as counsel for Wazizi, visited him at the Munya police station. And at that point, he had informed Barrister Ewule that he was being suspected on issues touching on anti-terrorism law and allegations which he denied. And from that point, Barrister Ewule kept a constant touch with him, and because Barrister Ewule believed at the time that the police in Munya, where he was held, I think they called 10th District Police Station, did not have the competence to actually investigate such offences, or were not well equipped to investigate such offences, he insisted that Wazizi should be moved to the judicial police, which is more competent in investigating such offences. And they assured him, and on the particular day when they were supposed to move Wazizi to the police, judicial police, Barrister Ewule was at the judicial police to receive him and to assist him as is required by law. But unfortunately, whilst he was there, he received information that Wazizi has been moved, that has been seized from the police by elements of the 21st Military Infantry Battalion in Boya, what you call BIM. And being the pushful lawyer that he is, he went to the office of the BIM where he was threatened and sent away. So when that happened, the only other legal recourse that we had was to file an action in court, the habeas corpus application for him to be produced. And given the circumstances that he was under detention, and it was only Barrister Ewule who had the facts as they were, which could be played before the court. So we filed a habeas corpus application in which Barrister Ewule was listed as one of the applicants, and Samuel Wazizi as the second applicant. In that application, we had also listed the Office of the Procureur General as a party, alongside the commander of the 21st Military Battalion. And the legal department, that is the State Council's chambers, filed a preliminary objection in which they contended that the Procureur General ought not to be a party, and secondly that the Barrister Ewule ought not to have been a party as well.
And after the first application for the habeas corpus was rejected by the Boya or the Fako High Court, Barrister Nkia Emmanuel filed in another habeas corpus application, and the response of the court is still awaited. In the meantime, the whereabouts of Samuel Wazizi remains unknown. Take a listen once more to Barrister Nkia Emmanuel, lead defense counsel in the case of Samuel Wazizi.
Of the Procureur General when it comes to criminal investigations. But then, so we let that go. We refiled. And that was done in November. We refiled in November. And again this time, we tried to work according to the, to amend the errors that the court pointed out. So we used Barrister Ewule to file on behalf of Samuel Wazizi. And the way the habeas corpus procedure operates is that when you file an action before the court, an application before the court, the judge will look at the facts if the facts prima facie that on the face of it disclose some sense of arbitrariness, then the court will make an order suo motu. That is, by the court will make an order of its own motion, directing that the people who are allegedly keeping the detainee, or who are allegedly arrested the detainee, should produce it alongside all the supporting documents, warranting his arrest and detention. That is what was done in this case. But surprisingly, we who are the applicants in this matter were not given a copy of that order. The order was rather given to the legal department. And we filed an application that we should be given a copy of that order. That application was dismissed. Now the legal department, which was now required to serve this order on the regional delegate for national security and the commander of BIM, refused to do so. They refused to serve the order on them. And because they refused to serve the order on them, these people were not under any legal obligation to produce Wazizi. Now the question you will ask is, why did the legal department refuse to serve this order on Wazizi? I mean on the regional delegate and on BIM. And we believe that they are refusing to do that because they know that either Wazizi is dead and so cannot be produced.
Legal minds, journalists, and even civil society and political leaders have been condemning the incommunicado detention of journalist Samuel Wazizi, journalist with CMTV in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, and despite calls from within and without journalism associations within the national territory, the Cameroon English-speaking Journalists Association, the Commonwealth Journalists Association, Cameroon and Africa branches, and even the Committee for the Protection of Journalists, the CPJ, the situation of Samuel Wazizi remains uncertain. His whereabouts remains unknown to now, despite the condemnations coming from all quarters. Take a listen once more to Barrister Kia Emmanuel.
Wazizi was arrested in Muya. He was kept in Muya police station. And if the legal department was doing its job well, they should know why he was there. They should know. They should have been the one to issue the warrants. And so we assume that if the legal department is not aware of why Wazizi was arrested, or why he was detained, or where he was detained, then it confirms our assertion that his arrest was arbitrary. It confirms our assertion that his detention is arbitrary. So the last time we went to court on the 14th of May, we moved our application, and the court, halfway through the proceedings, we discovered that the legal department had filed submissions in reply. We were not served. And we told them, we objected and drew the attention of the court that we could not be doing a case by ambush. The legal department cannot file a reply to our application, and we are not given a copy. It suggested that the whole process was being shrouded in secrecy. At that point, the court ordered that we should be given a copy. We served in court, and we requested for time to reply to what the legal department had argued. And they gave us time, we replied, and on the 28th of May, we went to court to adopt our submissions in reply to the arguments filed by the legal department, which was actually watery in nature, because they were saying that we should bring proofs that Wazizi was arrested. What proof do we bring? The law requires that you should give affidavit evidence. What it means by affidavit evidence is that evidence that is sworn on oath. And this evidence has been given by a lawyer, somebody who is naturally on oath. He has sworn again to an affidavit before the court to say that this is what I saw. He has identified people, call names of the people who are directly involved in this matter. And you expect that. What other evidence do you expect from us? that we should go and bring some arrest warrants signed by who? Generally,
Barrister Kia Emmanuel, lead defense counsel in the case of journalist Samuel Wazizi, who has been in detention for close to a year today, incommunicado, and recently the American Bar Association called for his liberation. On to something else now. Forces of law and others have neutralized and suspected a bandit here in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala, notably in the Douala 5 subdivision. The suspect is reported to have been attacking individuals and making away with the properties in the Douala 5 municipality. Smadjik and Gabriel reports.
One dead and another badly injured is the result of an operation that was carried out by the elements of the National Gendarmerie in Bonamusadi, Douala 5 subdivision. There were 3 in number who arrived at a hotel premises with the aid of this commercial motorcycle to attack a civilian lodged in the hotel. They were coming with the aim of killing their target and going away with the money he is keeping. Unfortunately, the operation was thwarted by the anti-gang unit of the National Gendarmerie fighting against high crimes.
We had a precise information that this group of robbers will come and attack this hotel, and our office of fight against serious crime came before them, and when they arrive, they go directly to the action, and our guys were already there and they react.
The bullet mark on the wall were signs of the gun battle that occurred within the hotel premises, which led to the killing of one of the armed bandits with an automatic pistol. The injured bandit on his back gave other important information to the gendarmerie officials.
What is very important is that we got in this operation a pistol and admonitions, 6 of them.
The lifeless body of the armed bandit is now at the Deido District Hospital mortuary, while the 2 commercial motorcycles they came with to carry out their act alongside the injured bandit are in the hands of the gendarmerie unit as investigations continue to track down the other gang members. All 3, reports say, were ex-convicts.
Students and pupils have returned to school in Marwa and the rest of the far north region of the Republic of Cameroon, but many of them are studying in very deplorable conditions. Poor infrastructure and the absence of social amenities is a major problem, or major problems affecting the teaching and learning process in that part of the Republic of Cameroon. And in the midst of all these, authorities in Marwa have promised to work in collaboration with the Parent Teachers Association to enable a hitch-free resumption of classes, a hitch-free unfolding of classes in the current school year. And we have details with Smadjik and Gabriel once more.
At the government high school in Marwa, students who showed up on day 1 of the resumption of schools had several stopovers before getting into their classrooms. Those coming in private cars or commercial motorcycle had to stop 300 meters away from their school campus. They undergo a search, check of temperature, and the last step, they wash their hands. Gladys, who is a Terminal D student, tells us.
On nous demande de rester à des distances d'environ 1 mètre.
They were asked to give at least a distance of 1 meter, no way to greet or embrace friends, and classrooms also separated. Teachers have also changed.
Être difficile parce que nous ne savons pas à qui nous aurons affaire pendant ce nouveau trimestre, mais nous espérons que tout va bien se passer par la grâce de Dieu.
In a bid to respect the social distancing, students have been divided into different classrooms. Several teachers now have new faces as students to deal with.
Alors les choses ne seront plus avant, les habitudes ont changé.
Things have changed. They are no longer the same again because we now have little number of students to deal with. Most of them new faces. Things will also go very fast because of the limited time we have.
Les choses iront aussi très vite compte tenu du temps que nous avons. Il faut aller à l'essentiel.
School authorities are now hoping to work in collaboration with the Parent Teachers Association to enable that the message for the respect of the barrier gestures are taken back home.
Et à l'heure où nous sommes, je peux vous assurer.
I can assure you that over 75% of students have answered present, and it is thanks to the sensitization campaign that was done. We also sent short messages, SMS, to the parents to encourage them to send their kids to school.
Nous avons envoyé des SMS aux parents pour les mettre en confiance, pour leur dire qu'au niveau du lycée classique, toutes les dispositions sécuritaires sont prises.
If at the government colleges we visited, social distancing was respected, at the University of Marwa, it was forgotten, with students seen in a long, tight queue. Far North region already counts over 50 cases of patients with COVID-19 virus, but authorities say sensitization will never end.
Smanjikan Gabriel reporting there. It should be noted that the back to school concerns only students in examination classes in the secondary and the primary or basic education levels, and also students of the universities and other higher institutions of learning across the country. And in the west region of Cameroon, the students and pupils return to school, and within the context of the coronavirus pandemic, the students, the pupils, the teachers, the school officials are putting hands on deck to bar the way to the coronavirus in that part of the country, as Immaculate Fogo reports.
A primary school teacher at the Evangelical School of Cameroon in Banka, West region of Cameroon, lecturing pupils with a face mask on and a baby strapped on her back on day one of school resumption. Classrooms that initially hosted 48 pupils now host 24 in order to better implement the respect of social distancing. At the entrance of each classroom, mobile taps and soap have been made available for hand washing. While at the Episcopal School of Our Lady of Banka, all the students could be seen wearing their face mask and respecting the social distancing rule. Students of Government Bilingual School Banka who came to school without their face mask were not allowed access into the campus. For those who could afford buying a face mask for 150 CFA francs, this little girl was ready to attend to them. Over in Kutaba in the Noon Division West region of Cameroon, the regular hand-washing exercise and social distancing measure were implemented in schools. The fight against COVID-19 in schools did not only involve school officials, as elected officials were also on board to help bar the way of the coronavirus in school milieus. Honorable Bwangwere Rinetu distributed hand sanitizers and face masks to students and teachers.
Following
the disinfection of classrooms by the mayor, we came here to reinforce COVID-19 barrier measures. It is not normal for a child to go to school and come back home with an infection, so we decided to bring these items for the students.
j'avais des appréhensions parce que je me disais que...
We are grateful for the gift she brought for us. I was scared that students will not resume school. But fortunately for us, everyone is here and we have effectively kick-started classes.
Tout le monde est là. Tout le monde.
School authorities have given the assurance on their preparedness to guide students towards the right track in order not to be infected with the coronavirus.
2 persons burnt to death in a road accident in the southwest region, notably in Limbe. In the town of Limbe, the accident occurred around the Moliwe entrance into the town of Limbe, and 2 persons reported to have been burnt to death in that accident, and 2 vehicles transporting illegal fuel came into a head-on collision, and the fire from both vehicles is said to have been triggered by the fuel that the vehicles were transporting, and 2 persons died in that incident. Talking Point is up next. All right, before Talking Point, we now take some news out of the country to talk about the black American killed in the United States of America, and the ambassador, the former African Union ambassador to the United States of America, Dr. Arikana Chiombori, has condemned the killing of that black by an American police officer. Take a listen to her.
After the police officer had been told that George no longer had a pulse, he still kept his knee on George's neck for another 3 minutes. Clearly, he meant to kill him. As a mother, as a grandmother, I feel hopeless. I feel defeated. I am exhausted. I am tired. How many more children are we going to watch as they get murdered in broad daylight? How many more black men and women are we going to watch as they get assassinated? As I sit back and try to make sense out of all these senseless killings of black men, I wonder, what crime have we, the black race, committed against the white race? Why are some elements of the white race so hateful of black people? I have lived in this country for many years. As black people, we are not only disrespected in the Americas or anywhere else on earth, we are also even disrespected on the continent of Africa. And that history goes back to colonization and the settlers.
The medical doctor, activist, and diplomat, former African Union ambassador to the United States of America, Dr. Arikana Chiombori, in that statement on the killing of blacks in the United States of America and elsewhere around the world, now takes us back into the history of how black people have been treated or maltreated all along, and says that all attempts to erase or to wipe off the black race from the surface of the earth can never prosper, because black people will continue to rise and rise and rise again. Take it easy.
While we apologize for having sold our children into slavery 400 years ago, and part of it, a lot of it had to do with our ignorance of what conditions our children were being subjected to as they were transported across the Atlantic. They were transported under some very difficult conditions, and even with all those difficult conditions, the black race still rose. They made it to the Americas. They were subjected to some of the most horrendous treatments on the plantations, and still they survived. From the lynchings, to the beatings, to the discrimination in the workforce, to the denial of economic opportunities, still, the children of Africa in the Americas rose. Every possible way to eliminate the black race has been attempted. And still, the black race rises. After everything else has failed, those bad elements within the white race have just now finally decided we will just murder them in broad daylight. And that's exactly what we are saying. But to those elements of the white race who do not believe black people belong here, I have news for you. Black people belong in the Americas just like the rest of the white race belong in the Americas. Learn from the history. The black race is indestructible. Black people belong in America just like the white people do.
Dr. Arikana Chiombori Kwau, medical doctor, activist, and former African Union ambassador to the United States of America, putting an end to this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. Thanks for staying with us.